Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of those crucial junctures, a place where international currents aren't just making ripples, but truly making waves. Our deep dive today is into Poland, a country that currently stands at the intersection of high-stakes international security, dynamic domestic economic shifts, and some truly fascinating political plays.
It really is a focal point right now.
Absolutely. It's a nation that is both reacting to and actively shaping the future of Europe. To help us navigate this complex and frankly urgent landscape, we've gathered insights from a stack of recent high-caliber sources, everything from Reuters and Euronews to ING Think, The Guardian, FT, RFI, and The Times.
Good range of perspectives there.
Definitely. Our mission is to distill these reports into the essential nuggets of knowledge, revealing not just what's happening, but why it profoundly matters to you. So settle in. Over the next few minutes, we're going to connect some dots you might not have expected. You'll hear about everything from presidential visits and interest rate cuts to scrambled fighter jets and, well, even a football match. It's all interconnected, you see.
It often is.
And understanding these threads offers a unique snapshot of our world right now. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's kick things off with a significant lead story from our sources. The intensifying geopolitical weight Poland is now carrying. Specifically, its deepening ties with the United States.
Yes, that White House visit was key.
Exactly. Polish President Karol Nawrocki's recent visit wasn't just a courtesy call. It secured incredibly public and robust backing from President Trump. He confirmed the U.S. will maintain troops in Poland and even floated the possibility of sending more.
Which is a very strong signal.
It feels like a moment of incredibly strong strategic reassurance, especially for a nation on NATO's eastern flank. But for an informed listener, what are some of the less obvious implications? Or maybe potential pitfalls of such a public, high-stakes commitment from the U.S.? Could it, for example, be perceived differently by other NATO allies?
That's a crucial question, and it really gets to the heart of the strategic timing here. What's fascinating is that this announcement comes precisely as Europe is deep in negotiations. They're hammering out critical long-term security guarantees for Ukraine.
Right. The timing is really interesting.
So when the U.S. president states unequivocally that troops will remain and could even increase, it sends a very clear twofold message. On one hand, it's a powerful statement of deterrence. It reinforces the idea that any aggression towards Poland, a NATO ally, would be met with an immediate, robust response.
Anchored by the U.S.
Anchored by the U.S. presence, exactly. This isn't just about drawing a line. It's about potentially redrawing the security map of Eastern Europe. This level of U.S. commitment immediately raises the odds of deeper bilateral defense programs between the U.S. and Poland.
Beyond just training.
Oh, yes. We're not just talking about more joint training exercises, which are already robust, but potentially the deployment of new advanced military equipment. Think cutting-edge air defense systems or precision long-range artillery, maybe even joint ventures in defense manufacturing or tech development within Poland. These are long-term structural changes.
Okay. But what about the other side of that coin, the perception among allies?
Right. And you're absolutely right to ask about that. While many in Eastern Europe will welcome this as essential reassurance, it could inadvertently accelerate a kind of two-speed Europe in defense.
How so?
Well, some Western European nations might see it as an opportunity to potentially reduce their own defense spending or contribution to Eastern flank security, relying more heavily on the U.S. commitment to Poland.
Ah, I see.
This could impact. So while it's a firm line in the sand for adversaries, it also sparks complex calculations within the alliance itself about burden sharing and future defense architecture.
That's a truly insightful way to frame it, not just reassurance, but potential shifts in strategic calculus across the whole continent. And speaking of Europe's efforts to shore up security, almost simultaneously with President Nawrocki's visit to Washington, you had Prime Minister Donald Tusk of Poland in Paris.
Yes, for that summit convened by President Macron.
For what's being, perhaps controversially, called a coalition of the willing summit.
Yeah.
That term historically, well, it often signifies a group acting in teams. So while the U.S. is pledging troops to Poland, Europe is trying to define its collective response to Ukraine's ongoing needs. What's the real story behind this coalition, and how does it fit into the broader European security puzzle?
Indeed. The reports from The Guardian, FT, RFI, they all point to a tangible moment beyond just ad hoc aid.
So the will is there, but
what's equally evident from these discussions is that divisions persist, particularly over the precise role of troops might play, not just in Ukraine, but also in supporting its defense from neighboring NATO territory. The devil is absolutely in the details here.
Right. The troop question is always sensitive.
Hugely sensitive. Are we talking about training missions within Ukraine itself? Some nations, like France, have hinted at that, but others strongly resist due to the direct risk of entanglement. Or are these guarantees purely about long-term military aid, intelligence sharing, financial support, avoiding any direct troop presence? That distinction matters immensely. It dictates the level of direct engagement, potential for escalation, the red lines many European states are trying to draw.
And the coalition of the willing name.
Well, that moniker itself is telling, isn't it? It suggests that while there's a shared strategic goal, individual national interests and varying levels of risk tolerance create a challenging environment. It's hard. Baltics, given their proximity and historical experience, often advocate for a more robust, direct approach. Others, maybe further west, might prioritize de-escalation. Key details on troops and the overall scope are still being hotly debated.
A complex balancing act.
Between collective ambition and national caution, yes. And it directly impacts the speed and efficacy of support Ukraine receives.
So while Poland strengthens its military alliances and navigates regional security, a nation's strength ultimately relies on its economic bedrock. And here, our sources indicate a significant domestic development, one that directly impacts, well, every Polish household. Shifting gears now, from battlefields to balance sheets, the National Bank around 2.8%. For many people, a rate cut usually sounds like good news signals relief. But for an informed listener, what's the deeper story here beyond the headlines?
Well, this was, in fact, a widely expected cut. Both Euronews and ING Think reported that clearly. Market analysts had largely priced this in, given the inflation trajectory.
Okay, so not...
That distinction is incredibly important for financial markets and for the average consumer.
Why adjustments?
It implies the central bank is acting cautiously, responding to improving data, sure, but not throwing caution to the wind. With August inflation now at 2.8%, it's precisely within the NBP's target range of 2.5%, plus or minus 1 percentage point.
Back on target.
Back on target. This isn't just breathing room. It signals a potential shift from a reactive stance, fighting high inflation, to a more proactive one, allowing the economy to potentially loosen up after a prolonged period of tightening.
And the practical impact.
The implication from the why it matters perspective is tangible and significant. This provides much-needed relief for households struggling with higher living costs, particularly those with variable rate mortgages. They'll see monthly payments decrease.
That's direct relief.
And it's a boost for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, who are often more sensitive to borrowing costs. Lower interest rates make it cheaper for them to invest, expand, hire. That's vital for broader economic growth.
But there must be caveats.
Of course. A key consideration for you, the listener, emerges. How far can this run? We need to keep a close eye on the zloty's performance in the coming weeks. A sharp depreciation could reignite inflationary pressures from imports. And critically, we'll be watching the Monetary Policy Council's language for forward guidance, especially anything from the governor's press conference. Are they hinting at further cuts, or is this a wait-and-see approach?
Comparing it to the ECB.
Yeah, comparing to the European Central Bank, which is still quite hawkish, the MBP is showing a clear divergence. It suggests confidence in their domestic inflation path, but also a careful balancing act.
That deeper dive into the NBP's strategy really highlights the delicate balance they're trying to strike. Okay, so from the economy, we pivot back to security, specifically Poland's immediate borders, where the situation remains incredibly tense. Reuters and the Times gave us this stark image: airspace on edge.
Yes, that phrase really captures it.
Following one of Russia's heaviest overnight assaults on Ukraine, Poland scrambled its own aircraft to ensure safety near its border. So what does this all mean for daily operations and Poland's military posture? What does airspace on edge truly look and feel like on the ground?
It is indeed incredibly tense. And this is a direct, immediate, and very real consequence of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine spilling over potentially into neighboring airspace. Airspace on edge isn't just a turn of phrase, it's a constant state of operational readiness.
Constant readiness.
Our sources indicate that following these particularly heavy Russian assaults on Ukrainian cities, often involving drones and cruise missiles, there's always the risk. The risk of a missile or drone straying into NATO airspace, either accidentally or perhaps deliberately. This isn't theoretical. It has happened before.
Right, there have been incidents.
So what does it mean for daily operations? It means Polish F-16s, or sometimes allied aircraft from other NATO nations under the air policing mission, are routinely scrambling, taking off at a moment's notice to intercept, identify, and escort any suspicious or potentially threatening aerial objects near their borders. It's a high-tempo, high-stress environment.
So when the sources say signals remain elevated?
The phrase Signals remain elevated along the NATO flank, truly captures the constant vigilance required. This isn't just about scrambled jets. It's about round-the-clock radar surveillance, intelligence gathering, highly trained personnel monitoring every blip on their screens.
24/7.
Exactly. The why it matters point here is unambiguous. These high-tempo Russian strikes on Ukraine keep Poland's air defense readiness and air policing capabilities constantly in the spotlight. And under immense pressure, it underscores the immediate, tangible impact of the conflict on Poland's security posture. It requires continuous investment in defense, constant training, and a significant psychological toll on the military personnel involved. It's a vivid reminder that the conflict in Ukraine isn't just over there, it's a palpable daily reality for nations sharing a border with the conflict zone.
It paints a very clear picture of constant vigilance. Now, amid all these high-stakes geopolitical, economic, and security developments, the White House, Paris summits, central bank decisions, scrambled fighter jets, our sources also included a little bonus nugget, a brief mention, almost a footnote, but quite striking in its contrast.
Ah, yes, the football.
Today, the Netherlands versus Poland football match is scheduled to take place. This isn't just a quirky footnote, is it? It feels like a small yet powerful window into the rhythm of daily life amidst immense pressure.
What's truly fascinating here is precisely that juxtaposition you mentioned. It really is striking. Even in the midst of what the source calls tense weeks, with all these major international and domestic pressures, everyday life, symbolized by a major sporting event like a football match,
Yeah.
unequivocally continues.
Life goes on.
Life goes on. This isn't just a game. It's a powerful cultural touchstone in Poland. The nation has a long history of using sport, especially football, as a unifying force, especially during times of external pressure or national challenge. Think back to the communist era. Victories on the pitch became symbolic acts of national defiance. They provided a crucial outlet for national pride and collective identity.
A sense of shared experience.
Absolutely. This match, occurring in such a tense week, serves as a potent, everyday reminder that despite the geopolitical storms, life, and indeed national identity find a way to express themselves and endure. It offers a surprising contrast to the relentless intensity of the other news we've discussed, perhaps reflecting a nation's inherent resilience.
Or just the need for normalcy.
Or simply highlighting the enduring power of shared cultural moments to provide a much-needed sense of normalcy and unity, even when the world around is anything but normal. You know, it kind of reminds me of that famous quote about how life goes on. Even during the Blitz in London, people queued for the cinema. It's a powerful, almost primal need for normalcy that often gets overlooked in the headlines, but it's crucial for maintaining national morale and stability.
We've truly navigated a complex, interconnected web of information today. From the high-level strategic discussions at the White House and a crucial Paris summit, to the careful economic decisions of a central bank, to the immediate necessity of fighter jet scrambles along a tense border, all converging on Poland. What's abundantly clear is that Poland isn't just reacting to global events, it's actively shaping its own future and, by extension, playing an increasingly pivotal role in the future of Europe.
Yeah, if you pull back, you really see Poland standing as a vital barometer for both European security and its economic stability. The interplay between strong, unwavering international alliances, particularly with the U.S. careful and strategic economic stewardship, as seen in the MBP's actions, and constant vigilance against external threats, all define its current trajectory.
A real balancing act.
It's a nation balancing many different complex forces at once, demonstrating resilience and strategic foresight in a turbulent world.
So as you reflect on this deep dive, consider this. How do these seemingly disparate elements, a presidential promise of military support that could redraw a security map, an interest rate cut providing crucial economic relief, a scrambled jet protecting sovereign airspace from unseen threats, and even a football match uniting a nation in a moment of shared joy? How do they ultimately weave together to create the true tapestry of a nation's story in a turbulent world?
A powerful question.
What does it tell us about the delicate yet persistent balance between the immense forces of global geopolitics and the unyielding rhythm of daily life? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.